What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Miss Eha, coming live with Journey with Trish, the podcast. Houston, listen, I am so super duper excited to be back with you tonight, and I'm even more excited to have, I love when I have male counterparts on the show. I'm gonna go ahead and let them introduce themselves in a minute, but let me go ahead and give you my medical disclaimer. Neither myself, Patricia Stocks, Reed, or Journey with Trish, the podcast, or any affiliates are here to give you any type of medical or psychiatric advice. If you're having any type of those emergencies, I would defer you to the emergency room or your primary care provider or your psych provider, because I am not your provider tonight. Go ahead and take this opportunity to like, comment, follow, and share. Tag somebody who has had cosmetic surgery or thinking about cosmetic surgery, or possibly, has some different views about cosmetic surgery. All right, so we can get this message out to as many people as possible. Up on the top right corner, who do I have joining me tonight?
What's going on? My name Gohard, author, business owner, entrepreneur, actor. You can find me on social medias, Instagram, og.gohard, Facebook, Jerry Carnell Jr. I'm glad to be here tonight. Thank you, Trish, for having me.
Thank you for agreeing to come on. And then who do I have bottom center?
How you guys doing? I am the DJ Spree, self-employed entertainer. I've been self-employed for quite some time. I also have a podcast at the DJ Speaks on YouTube and Facebook.
Exciting. So we're going to start the podcast tonight. I'm going to let you guys ask. You had some questions for me about, if anybody doesn't know, the reason I'm here tonight is because yesterday made the 1 year anniversary of my journey through cosmetic surgery. And so when all three of us, we met via the Houston Bosses and Baddies Facebook group. It's kind of how we connected. And so I wanted to see what questions you have for me as a male as to why I had about my journey with my cosmetic surgery.
So for me, I just wanted to know what the thought process was, or what prompted you to want to have the surgery in the first place.
Okay. So for me, my desire to actually have surgery started probably, early on when people started getting, BBLs became more popular. So when I was younger, I used to work out all the time. I had only had one child, and I had a cute little booty. But I've always struggled with my weight. So my weight has always gone up and down, up and down, and up and down. Yo-yo dieting for years. So I always, even though I wanted to have a BBL in the past, I could never keep my weight off long enough to even meet the criteria to have the surgery. And so I guess about 3 years ago, I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 years ago, but I lost almost 90 pounds. And in losing 90 pounds, that left me with a lot of skin in a lot of places. Add on to that the fact that I've had 3 babies, my breasts were sagging, and I had absolutely no butt at all whatsoever. So I would wear waist trainers all the time, which were uncomfortable. Being totally honest, I have worn like booty pads in the past to kind of make myself look better in my clothing. Now I had somebody in the group I think maybe it was you, Go Hard, who made the comment, well, men will play with women who have had cosmetic surgery or BBL, but you would never marry one. Yeah. Well, I was actually already married when I had cosmetic surgery. So that's kind of the reason why I had it, was not because I was trying to impress anyone else or trying to keep, my husband. It was all for me. And so that's always, I've done podcasting before telling, if you have a gastric bypass or any type of weight loss surgery, it's mandatory that you have some type of therapy. You got to be clear about psychology. In my professional opinion, I feel like you should also be clear before you have any type of body work, because there's a lot that comes with it. There's some depression, some anxiety, a lot that comes with it. And I do definitely think that, we should make sure women are having it for the right reason.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm just so we're clear, you didn't have that because somebody was making comments or saying, uh, or your husband was giving you comments about your weight. You did that for self. That was all for self.
Absolutely. If I'm being honest, now he is my ex-husband now, but he historically has liked bigger women. So he had no problem with me the way that I was before. Now, short of my blood pressure being like crazy, which is why I had to make a conscious decision to lose the weight. And I'll tell you, I worked on my mental health before I ever started losing weight. I worked on my self-esteem before I ever started losing weight. Because at any given moment, life happens. I'm not
Sure.
guaranteed never to gain this weight back. I'm gonna try my best not to, but life happens. And so I don't want to wake up tomorrow or in a couple years and I've gained some weight back, or things kind of shift around and now I'm depressed. My self-esteem is not the way it should be anymore. So I definitely think a woman should make sure your self-esteem is where it needs to be first. Make sure your mental health is addressed first before you just jump out and go having any type of cosmetic surgery.
Yeah. I think that's why a lot of the surgeries started happening because of low self. Not saying you, but I'm just generally speaking. A lot of them probably occurred due to low self esteem, due to people probably not, women probably not feeling secure with how they are, how they look, and so they wanted to change that to some degree.
Well, I would also add though, you can look at there's industries where BBLs are kind of necessary. You look at dancers and things like that where it could be actually a tax write-off, and it also could help them make more money. So I don't always look at I guess the emotional side of it. I look at the business side of it as well. I think what I look at is, do women understand what that brings later on in life, right? From a man standpoint, um, do you understand, like, most men with character, morals, and values aren't looking to bring the typical BBL home to mom or grandmom, right? And maybe we shouldn't care about that, but I think we should, because my family name is strong, right? We have morals and values that we stick on, and I don't want to disappoint my family, right, by bringing that home and them not approving that, if that makes sense.
Well,
So
You
what
I
a
is
think
diff-
that's where we get lost at is.
typical be? What are you when you say the
you a
typical?
diff-
Yeah.
you a different breed, bro. You a different breed altogether. Cause I got some boys that will pay for the BBL.
But will they merit it?
They have no issue with it.
I'll pay for
I'm
one
not
now.
not me per not me
I'll
per
pay
se.
for a BBL for
Not
sure,
me per
but
se, but I mean I think I agree with you. I agree with you um as far as the entertainment and the business side of it. But I think when you look at our community as a whole, our community as a whole is not in the entertainment business. So our community as a whole, we're talking about lower class and so on and so forth. They're not they're not getting BBLs for entertainment. This is for the appearance, the overall appearance, trying to enhance the overall appearance. And though I disagree with it, I'm not a I don't have anything against them.
yeah.
But me per se, I wouldn't. I've never signed off on one. I've been asked several times. I was, in a marriage, I was asked before, what you think? No, I don't. No, you don't need that. I'm all right with the way you look. No, you know what I
And
mean.
why do
That's
you
always
say why do you say no to it? What is it? What is
well
your
for me. It was more. I was no because I was more afraid of the health risk. Something might happen, the surgery may go wrong. I was always a no because I've had people have tremendous, tremendous bad experiences because of it. I've had a few people almost die that I know. I've had a few people where the surgery went wrong, didn't turn out right. You know what I mean? And so for me, the minute you mention, I'm thinking about nope, nope. I don't want to hear it. I'm closed off completely. I'm against it, period. You know what I mean? And I think for us, she mentioned earlier, a lot of people want to do the surgery not understanding the risk. Like it's a big risk, man. Like it ain't just you go in there, lay down, and boom, you wake up and you magically this new person. It's a lot of things that go into it. The diet got to be right. You got to eat the right stuff. You can't the alcohol, drug, all that stuff matter. And I think a lot of times people who are wanting these surgeries are not investigating these things, man. They just sign me up. You know what I mean? So that was my reasoning for being against it.
Mind me asking you how old you are?
Me, say it again.
Go hard. You mind me asking
Say it
how old
again.
you are?
So I'm
How
I'm
old?
20 I'm 27.
Okay. Okay. And DJ Spree, you are how old?
I'll be 50 in March.
Okay. And so if there may be the age population may also have something to do with the different views. So go on, tell me, because every woman is not forthcoming, right? And so you start dating someone and y'all been talking for a while and you start feeling her. And then at some point you realize she's had, because contrary to popular belief, if somebody has like a natural surgery, how, when you find out, oh, she had a BBL, or oh, she had her breast done, at that point you're just gonna like turn everything off and say, oh, you're not marriage material. No.
uh it comes down to the look of it, right? So if this I'm a petite kind of guy anyway, right off the bat. So but it comes down to the look of it. Can I take you home to my parents and they not look at you like, oh, she's had surgery, she's this, you know what I'm saying? Because we associate that with strippers, or I won't say strip, but dancers and stuff like that. And so my parents and grandparents are already gonna have this diagnostic of who this woman is. So it comes down to the look of it. Now, if it's perfectly shaped and I can't tell right off the bat, then maybe we're gonna have to check the mental, because maybe we can move on. But I'm actually going through this situation right now with a woman I am dating. She's considering BBL surgery, and so this topic is kind of fresh to me. Um, and I don't think if she goes through with that we would continue. No,
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
absolutely not.
Wow. Yeah, I'm shocked.
Yeah,
So let me ask you, because so, in the black community, there are some women who are naturally, you know, thick hips,
mhm.
nice bodies. So what would be the difference to you? Like they're like a stripper before there were BBLs was still a stripper. Like you still had these banging bodies. So even if she wasn't a stripper and she just had this banging body, would you not feel comfortable taking someone home to grandma because they got a banging body?
I think it's bigger than just the body to me. For one, it's the like I'm looking at your mental first, but it's bigger than just the body, right? So when I look at who's gonna raise my children, who's gonna because the woman is kind of like that figure to the children, right? I'm the man, I'm gonna be the figure, but the woman is like who these children are gonna, look up to and kind of model after in my life, because that's who they're gonna spend the most time with, right? So if I allow my woman to come into my home and be and do these surgeries because of whatever reasons, it's gonna make my children think that it's okay. And I have nothing against anybody who does it, but me personally, I don't agree with it, right? So I wouldn't want my children to think it was okay either, if that makes
And,
sense.
and yeah, and you don't agree with it based on the fact that it sometimes comes with a stripper mentality. Just how we
No,
clear it up.
no. I just think it kind of what DJ was saying. Like I just think it's mentally something is like there's something mentally going on that makes you want to go under the knife, knowing how severe this surgery can be. And so for me, I just don't see. I don't agree with altering the body. Period. What God gave me is what I have. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
You want to add anything before I?
I, I, I mean, the only thing I can really say, I mean, I can't say I don't understand his point of view. I understand his point of view, but I understand it because again, he's 26. So from a not saying, not, I hope you don't take that,
No,
in the
you good.
wrong
You
way.
good. You good.
But what I mean by that is, as being 26, you've not really fully experienced the whole spectrum. So at 50, what I look for and what you look for isn't the same. So that's why I can't say that I don't that's why I can't say I understand your viewpoint, because when I was 26, I didn't look for the same stuff I look for now at 50. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
for me, obviously, you have women who are naturally built amazing. I mean, we
Yeah.
all can agree. There are women who they're just without the knife, without the surgery, without exercise, perfect diet. Their body is just the way it is. And so for those, even some of those women with those bodies, their confidence is not through the roof, because for them they don't see it. We see it, but they don't really see, oh, I have this body and I look like this, and they don't see it because men are not approaching them at a rapid pace. One, they may be afraid, they may be intimidated. Two, they may think they have a BBL and they don't, or different things like that. So for me, I don't really look at 50. I'm not really concerned about what another person thinks about a person that I love or that I'm with at 50, right?
Yeah.
Because for me, if I'm happy with it, I don't really care who else is. You know what I mean? But at 26, I can kind of get it. I can kind of dig it because there's still that family structure. There's still those expectations. There's still that I haven't been married yet. You know what I mean? I don't have children yet. So
So
there's
I've
still
been married before.
oh, okay. So
Yes, I am
there-
divorced.
so there's still a large window,
Yeah,
right?
for
That
sure.
that you have to explore. And so I get it. You know what I mean? Like you got a type. Everybody has a type. You know what I
Yeah, for
mean? I
sure.
get it. I get it. You know what I mean? But at some point, and it may not happen in the next couple of years. It may, you may be 40, 50, 60, whatever. At some point, you know, you're gonna say, that shit really don't matter. You know what I mean? Like at some point, you're gonna be like, it ain't really that big of a deal. Because a BBL, just like anything else, do you work out?
Yeah,
Like in the gym, lift weights?
yeah,
Okay, so if you work out and you go to a gym and you lifting weights and you do this for 4 or 5 years, right? Let's say the minute you stop working out, what happens?
you lose it.
You lose it, right? So
Hmm.
it's the same with a BBL. So if a person go gets a BBL, which and they have this gastric or whatever the surgeries are, and the weight is gone. If you don't, because like you mentioned, if you don't do the work and you don't maintain it, guess what happens? The weight returns. So everything that you did to get rid of the weight, it's now back, right? So in the mind state, it's just like you can't have one without the other. You know what I mean? You can't have one without the other. I heard you say I like them petite. I get it, but guess what? They ain't gonna be petite forever. Things gonna
Especially
change.
like, I
Things
don't know.
gonna change. They may not get big, but something's gonna change. You know what I mean? Something's gonna change. So I don't know. It's just a matter of percent. What you like, what you don't like.
Yeah, for
What you're
sure.
comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with. Um, I just know for me, um, it's a very serious, dangerous, scary thing for a woman to experience, especially without the knowledge. You know what I mean? Without knowing what's to come. And so for me, it's always been a no. It's always going to be a no simply for that reason. Not because I don't think it looks good after the fact, because I've seen some that look amazing, after they're done. I got family members that have had them, and I didn't think they even needed them. You know what I mean? To be honest, but they had them, and so. But
Don't get
That's
me wrong. I love a nice BBL. I will enjoy
just
a
gonna
nice.
marry it. You just gonna marry it.
Yeah,
I want
I don't think
yeah,
I could marry.
but see that's the thing. That's the thing. You're looking at the entertainment part, right? You're
you
looking
look
at the
at
you're
you're
looking
worried about other people judging the fact that the person
yeah.
that you're with
Yeah,
has
It's not even about other
but
people
he's looking at
judging.
the entertainment part of BB. It looks nice. I can play with it. I can slap it, flip it, rub it down. You're looking at the entertainment part. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But the reality is that shit ain't gonna last. You know what I'm saying? So what happens then?
what? What you saying? Just the entertainment piece ain't gonna
Yeah,
last?
that ain't gonna last. You're gonna have a little fun and then what?
Shit, we keep pushing with life. It's just
and I'm
life
just
But
goes
like,
you,
on.
how long are you
but you
gonna
say you're not gonna marry
stay?
it. You're not gonna marry it. So how you keep pushing? You ain't gonna you just,
And that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. You already said that you would marry her, and you even said that you would finance,
Yeah.
someone's BBL. So you're gonna do all of that for a person that you would not even that you're not willing to stay in a relationship with. For what reason? You're gonna
So I
build it.
can I can have fun with it. Eventually, it's like you said, it's gonna end, right? And then I go on to find my wife if I do plan to get married again. Uh, but yeah, you can. I feel like you can have fun. Like you said earlier, I am young, so maybe I'm not seeing. But I have friends that are 30 and 40, and we have these conversations, and it sounds exactly the same as what I'm regurgitating right now. It's a lot of fun. But outside of that fun,
I would
it
just love, like, I would just love to know what, like, the perception, like, where does that come from? That because they haven't always been as the reason, and I ain't gonna say reasonably priced, but they haven't always been as accessible as they are now. Um, and so for most of the like in the past, the people who got them, they were able to get them because they had the money, a lot of money, and they were professional women that my friend Alicia said you could pay for hers. There were professional women who were able, or people in the entertainment industry who were able to get them. So when did it become like men start thinking that only women who were strippers or had stripper mindsets, or because I'm a medical provider.
yeah.
Okay. I have three children, and having those three children kind of tore my body apart. And like I said, the yo-yo dieting kind of tore my body apart. And you're gonna have these people, who go to the gym. You're gonna have trainers who are gonna come to you and say, "Oh, you don't gotta do that. All you gotta do is get in the gym. All you gotta do this." It's not true. It's not true. There was nothing that I would have been able to do in the gym that was going to address the gut. And I don't care how many stair climbers or squats I did, it was not going to give me the butt that I wanted to have.
Yeah.
But
So
it
so
changed my
so
mindset.
so not to cut you off, but let me just interject real quick. So a lot of what we're seeing now, as far as the younger generation with the BBLs, a lot of that is happening because of what they've seen in the past. Whether it be Kim Kardashian, K. Michelle, whoever, they've seen these people do it and like, oh, I can have that. And then um, with that mindset, it creates a stigma, right? So now it's like everybody who is not comfortable with what they look like, everybody who felt like this person was talking about them or this person didn't like them. Well, I can fix that. I can just get me a BBL. I can go do this. I can change this. I can change that. I'm just worried about how this look. I just want to switch this. And the reality is that really don't solve the issue, right? Because the issue is here.
And
You
that's what I've been
follow me?
trying to say. Yeah.
So for me, now I get what you're saying. You're saying, hey, I tried it. I did the working out. I did the Stairmaster. I did this. I did that. I got you. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm telling you is, even through all of that, there probably wasn't anything wrong with how you looked to other people. It was something wrong with how you looked to yourself.
You
So
nailed it.
so your husband never said, cause see, I'm a guy. So in my relationship, it's simple. If you gonna complain about how you look, fix it. I ain't got no problem with it. But I don't want to hear it all the time. You know what I'm saying? So if you got an issue with it, go fix it. Just don't fix it like that. Because I'm
If
okay
it's
with it.
the only way, what if that's the only way? Are
What
you gonna be? Are you? Because there are a lot of women, who would
what if
like.
what if you mean if it's the only way as far as what? As far as it, now if it's life threatening, it's different. If it's life threatening and you gotta do it, because your cholesterol, whatever it is, if it's gonna save your life or it's sure. But if it ain't life threatening and you just want to do it because it make you want to it make you look better or whatever, come on now. I mean, this
So
here's my
I
deal.
think
So
Here's
are
my
we
deal.
talking BBL specifically, or are we talking plastic surgery overall?
I'm talking about cosmetic surgery,
Cosmetic surgery as a
Okay.
whole. As a
general.
So
whole,
I
as a
will
whole,
say,
because cosmetic surgery ain't just BBL. You got people getting stuff done to the face, they getting stuff done to the arms, up under here, all kind of stuff is going on, man. Like it's crazy out here.
At the end of the day, you are the person that looks at yourself the most. If I have, if people who have scars on their face, or my gut, like I was disgusted with my own gut, you know,
But
and
you
so
but you also
nothing that
said you have 3 kids, right?
okay, okay. And so for me, because it bothered me so much, even though my husband didn't have a problem with it, or no matter how much somebody else would tell me, oh, you look great, you don't need to lose any more weight. At the end of the day, until you get to a level of comfort where you feel the most comfortable with yourself, it doesn't really matter, how much somebody is motivating me or encouraging me or in telling me how great I look. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of people think that women do it because they're trying to impress somebody else. Everything that I did for me. It wasn't for my husband. It was sometimes, if I'm being honest, the attention that I get now is kind of aggravating because it does come with more attention than I got before. Now I got attention before. Don't get me wrong, but some like the chin and whispering, the like, it gets uncomfortable sometimes, especially for younger women. Sometimes you think you'll be comfortable with that, but everybody's not.
It's just I used to liken it to a woman spending all this time getting dressed up and going to a club, and then when the guy says how you doing, you ignore him. I'm like, that makes no sense. You spend all this time to get noticed, and then when he notices you, you ignore him. That's like the most backward shit ever, right? But I think for the most part, the mental is everything. If it's not right here and it's off here, everything else is haywire. You know what I mean? Um, Obviously, every woman wants to feel like they look amazing. Every woman wants to have that secure feeling
Not
that
just women, because I'm going to tell you, men are more insecure about a lot of things than they let on. Men come with a lot of insecurities as well. They get older, their hair starts to thin, they start to bald, they put on weight. Like men have insecurities too. They just don't go. Just think about, women, we wear braids, we wear wigs, we get our sew-ins. But when men started going and getting these lace fronts, like they got all this backlash. But to me, there's no difference.
yeah, I don't disagree, but I wouldn't really. I mean, I can't really speak to that because I wouldn't know nothing. It is what it is with me. I'm simple. You get what you get. You don't like it? Oh well, you get what you get. I'm not changing nothing. I ain't dying nothing. I ain't doing none of that. You get. I'm simple. I don't have holes in my ears. I don't have none of that. I'm plain and simple. What you see is what you get.
Do you think that possibly, and either one of you can answer this, how as Black people, like we will have conversations with white people or people of Asian people, any other race, and they'll say things like, I don't understand. And so we'll say, well, you wouldn't understand because you're not Black and you're never going to be Black. So is it possible that you're never going to understand the way a woman feels and how she feels and what her securities are like because you're not a woman and you're never going to be one?
It's
absolutely.
possible. It's possible.
And
Sure,
that's
it's
why I
possible.
think this conversation is good because I'm gaining understanding as well. Uh, But I do want to backtrack. I want to put on the record that I was speaking specifically of BBLs. So as a guy like me, I want to take kids. So like if my wife want to get a tummy tuck, then yeah, like a tummy tuck is fine. I think the I don't like the BBL thing. So we speaking of cosmetic surgery as a whole.
That makes
I'm
sense.
against the BBLs.
That
But
What
makes
about
like
sense.
I want to get veneers. You know what I'm saying? So it's certain like a tummy tuck veneers. Okay, we could do that. But that BBL thing is a little different.
do you think that it is because, and I think that it is, I think it's because of some of the astronomical, unnatural sizes that we see sometimes with BBLs.
We see far more bad looking BBLs than we do good, right? That we know of, because there could
I
be some
agree.
good BBLs that we see on the daily that we don't realize is a BBL.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree with that. I agree with that. I see way more um BBLs or surgeries that went wrong than I do that went right.
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
it's social media. Of
yeah.
course,
He's 1000% correct in that regard. I see way more that went wrong than I see that went right. And I have, I personally I know about 10 or 15 women personally that have had the work done, and I'm like, bruh, like, come on, man, keep your money. You should have kept your money.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is ridiculous. But it is what it is.
Even some of the entertainers, the rappers and the Kim K's, like you look at their BBLs and it's just like this is what everybody's trying to go get. That it looks terrible.
Mm, yeah. I mean, I remember K Michelle's went wrong, man, and she was like, everybody, she was telling everybody, leave that shit alone. And people were just like,
I think she actually had silicone implants with
yeah,
her.
yeah,
By
she
her.
had something. I don't know. I just know it didn't go right.
Yeah,
And then she actually, and she wasn't like at some point she got kind of overwhelmed. She said with the size of it, and so she wanted a more natural size as well. But it's
Mm,
like I said, there's definitely a lot, which is why I came on here, because I specifically wanted to kind of speak on the behalf of women who want to, but you can't because your family is against it or you're worried about what other people are going to say about it. But more important than that is it can be like it's a very dangerous. It's a major surgery.
yeah. Now I
Look,
will tell you, I will tell you this. Um, I've had family members do it, and it was extremely successful. They did the aftercare, which was a while. Probably about 2 months or 3 months of aftercare, therapy, and all that stuff, uh, and it was expensive. It cost. It was the different creams and all that type of stuff, but they maintain. Like if you see them now, you like, oh yeah, they didn't decline. You know what I mean? So there is a success ratio if you do your part. So let me just say that all of them, I ain't they all ain't been bad. You know what I mean? And so, but I think a lot of times everybody, not everybody, but for the most part, people want the easy way out. Like I don't want to do all that. I just want to, boom, boom, let's get it done, and that's it. You know what I mean? And it don't work like that all the time. It's a process.
the
it's
workout
the
that you
process
didn't want to do, you're gonna have to do it after you get the surgery
It's
to
the process
maintain.
before, it's the process during, and it's the process afterwards. And you definitely like, especially, I tell everybody the first two times, because I've been three times. The first two times I went to Miami. In people's minds, you see these specials that they're running in Miami, and you have friends that have gone to these doctors who have, great success rates. But at the end of the day, by the time you spend money on housing to get to Miami, and you got to bring somebody with you to Miami. Um, you kind of ends up kind of equal because the last time I stayed home in Houston and had my last surgery done, and I was much more comfortable being able to come home and recover in the privacy of of my own home. But you got to factor in those after those drainage therapy that you have to have afterwards, any garments that you have to have afterwards. And this goes on for months. Your diet has to be good. You got to stop smoking before you smoke marijuana, but you got to start smoking cigarettes if you smoke cigarettes. If you're doing any other kind of drugs, definitely want to stop that beforehand and while you're healing, because afterwards that slows down the healing process. I was like, I didn't smoke, I wasn't drinking, and my blood pressure the first time was in the dirts for like a couple weeks afterwards. Thank God for my daughter, who is also a nurse, and she is like nurse ratchet. She don't play, and she took care of her mama. But I mean, I had to have help going to the bathroom because my blood
Absolutely.
pressure would drop, and I would, be like almost
Hmm.
passed out. It was like if she wasn't there, I could very well not be sitting here to be able to tell you about the surgery today.
Right.
So it's nothing. It is nothing to play with. You got to take it seriously.
So I got a question for you, Trish.
Absolutely.
Mentally, on your first surgery, where were you mentally, and what advice would you give someone that's getting ready to go on that adventure? Mentally, where do you have to be?
Great question. So when I had my surgery the first and the second time, mentally I was in a great space. Like I said, my self esteem was in a great place. My faith was in a great place, and I didn't really feel like I had any stress and worries at all whatsoever. And I did it because like I had taken care of a lot of people in my life, and I've done things and I've sacrificed for a lot of people. And so I wanted to do something finally for me. And that was what I decided to do for me. Now, let's fast forward to this last surgery where I wake up divorced, right? And so now here I am in Houston and I'm divorced and I have this last surgery that's scheduled in Miami. I honestly almost canceled the last surgery, but I wanted, like, I had this goal that by the time I turned 50, I wanted to have them all done. I was not in a great place. I did not eat the way I should have ate. I did not rest the way I should have rested. I was depressed. I was anxious, and I didn't heal the way I should have healed. So, should I have waited for the last surgery? Absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. Your mental health definitely matters when it comes to having these surgeries because it played a major role in my healing process.
So let me ask you,
Hmm.
with that being said, was it all worth it?
Absolutely.
So you are 100% now comfortable with the way you look now.
I am. But now let's talk about that for a minute because that was like one of the things I said. In my mind, and I'm speaking directly to any woman out there that's thinking about having surgery, God did not make you equally symmetric at any place in your body. We all have two different eyebrows, two different, like our hands are different sizes, our feet are different sizes. So if God did not design you symmetrically perfect, do not go and lay on that table expecting for that surgeon to make you aesthetically, symmetrically perfect. So somebody used to tell me, Trish, if you stare at anything long enough, you're gonna find something wrong with it. So I can still look at my body right now and be like, oh no, wait a minute. Oh, like this should have been like this, and I wish this was up more. So do I feel like my body is perfect? Absolutely not. But it's perfect for me. Like I'm comfortable with where I am right now. But that's just me. That's just me. I'm not doing it again, that's for sure. That's for sure.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody, Cat Williams used to say, ain't no man turning down no woman because of no stretch marks. But I think I can honestly say I don't think you had any issues prior to having the first surgery, and I don't think you're gonna have any after having to last. I think it was more so the mental for you that had to take place. I don't think fellas is. I mean, you got some guys that's kind of maybe that way, but for the most part, ain't no man really concerned about that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Shocked
for
to see
real.
how many people how many guys that responded to my post today in the group who said the same thing. I think they were probably older than you are, go hard, but yeah, I would never marry nobody that had. What? First of all, unless you have done your research and you know exactly where the marks, the wounds that are left behind are going to be, no, you don't even
Well,
know until
We
you
well,
get.
know.
I'll just say this to that to answer that. I'll say this: surgeries aside, the person you marry in year one is not the same person you married to in year five. So the evolution, whether it be psychological, emotional, spiritual, physical, whatever, the evolution is going to happen regardless. The question is whether now that you're going to evolve together or separately. And so, for me, as I said, surgeries aside, um, everybody has issues. You know what I mean? For us, as guys, our issues are not cosmetic for the most part. You know, in my opinion, let me just say, in my opinion, it's not cosmetic for the most part. I think for us, there's other stuff that goes on with us. You know what I mean? As far as um, here, how we see ourselves or how we view ourselves here as being kings. And so outside of that, I don't know. If you comfortable with the surgery, you comfortable with the outcome, I think it's great. You know what I mean? I think you understood the risk. You did the research. You did the homework. It's important, very, very important, that any woman who is contemplating these type of surgeries or procedures, whether it be just in the face or the body or the butt, the breast, whatever it is, that they do the absolute best in researching and doing the homework, and not just the procedure itself, but the doctors who's
But
doing these procedures.
that's right.
Yeah.
And,
What are the reviews on the doctors? Where are they getting these people? Where are people going? What's the most all that stuff make a difference. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
not
my two
something we
cents.
cut corners on at all.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents. So
definitely, again, my first two surgeries I did in Miami. In Miami, you don't see the doctor before you schedule your appointment, and you don't see the doctor until like you go to Miami. So there are women who get all the way there, and for some reason now, they find something when they see the doctor. You don't spent all this money to get there, they cancel the surgery, you can't have it. Or when you need access to the doctor afterwards, you're states and states and miles away, but your doctor's back there. You get back home and something happens, and a doctor at home don't want to touch you. You got to figure out how to, they can stabilize you, but as far as corrections, now you got to figure out how to get to Miami. So it was definitely more comfortable for me to be able, and shout out to Dr. Dinya in Houston, who definitely made it a whole lot more comfortable. Each time that I see the doctor, I'm going to his office. If I got a problem, I can go to his office. You have women who travel out of the country all the time. You have women who come back in caskets. And that's definitely something that we need to it's real. People die all the time. Different states have different laws. If you're gonna go to Florida, also understand me. When it comes to liposuction, they take out the least amount by law. I think they are 3,500 to 4,000. Whereas in Texas and most other states, you're gonna get 5,000 liters taken out. So all of that makes a difference in what your results are gonna be. You got to take all that into consideration. But it is absolutely a risky surgery. You can absolutely lose your life having these surgeries. You may not get the results you want after these surgeries. You go, true story. I went in with my picture, with what they call them, inspiration, with my inspiration picture. And he looked at that picture and literally told me, now I ain't no miracle worker. Like, this is exactly what he said. But like, here I go. I'm looking at all of these other women and beautiful women, beautiful bodies, or work that he's done, but they weren't my body shape before they had surgery. So all of that makes a difference. You can't just go and look at somebody else's butt or somebody else's breast and say, I want that one, and then expect that they're gonna be able to deliver that to
Right.
you. Mhm.
That makes sense.
So, but anybody else want to add anything? Because I'm probably gonna feel uncomfortable if I do my reveal with you guys on here. So, any other questions or topics we want to discuss before I have you guys pop off, and then I'll go ahead and continue.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I actually gotta get off anyway. So
Okay.
let me just say this though before I leave.
Okay.
Um I'm extremely uh I'm extremely honored that you had me on the show.
Thank you.
Perfect topic to discuss. And at any time you need me back as a guest, you got it. Just
Well,
send me a shout and you got it. It's nice meeting you, my man. Uh Blessings to you. You know what I mean? Nothing but success moving forward, man, with your podcast.
same with you, brother.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Trish, good luck, man. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
thank you. All right, and we'll talk.
Definitely.
Go hard. Thank you again for coming on tonight as well. Let me see. Look over. Thank you again for coming on tonight as
Yeah.
all right. I hung up on Go Hard by accident, but I'm back. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue. I am gonna go ahead and show you guys um like what you're gonna be left with. So I'm gonna show you my scars that take a little bit of time to heal. I spent a lot of money in product. I spent a lot of money in garments. If I'm being honest, somebody wanted to know, like, where am I now? Like, in this whole process, I can tell you um, about $40,000. About $40,000 over a year's time to go back and forth. Because again, it's not just you go to Miami, it's not just the $3,500 that you see. It was, I believe, for the BBL and the Lipo 360. I think it was like $3,500 at the time. But in addition to that, I got to pay somebody to come to the Airbnb. Well, first I got to pay. I had an Airbnb, and it was a 3-bedroom Airbnb. And so that's $2,500 right there for the Airbnb. I got to buy groceries because I got to eat, and I got to eat healthy. The healthier you eat, the more expensive it is, right? So let's factor in food. Let's factor in the flight for myself to get to Miami, and then the fact that I got to fly somebody else to Miami to take care of me while I'm there. All of this is money. Now, they do have recovery houses that you can utilize while you're there that are staffed with nurses or other healthcare workers. Well, they're not always healthcare workers. Listen, do not be afraid to ask somebody for their credentials and their certifications. This is your life. I'm going to say that again. This is your life. This is the money that you spend to get there, and you're putting your life in somebody's hands. It's costing you a lot of money, and most of the people that you are using are uncertified professionals that have gone to somebody else who was uncertified to get some training, or hey, they have done their research on YouTube and watched some videos. This is your life. This is your life. This is your life. Do your due diligence. If anything feels uncomfortable, speak up for yourself. Okay. Take somebody with you. Absolutely need a family member or a friend that has some type of medical background when you go, especially out of the state. Even if you're staying at home, you don't want to be there by yourself for the first few days. And somebody who, if something goes, awry, they still are going to be able to stay there with you and take care of you until you are at a place where you can take care of yourself. All of these things you got to factor into going to have surgery. All right. It is a very dangerous surgery, especially your anything with lipo or your BBLs are going to be probably more dangerous. Those are more dangerous than the tummy tuck, right? They're sticking cannulas in you. You got veins in there, and arteries in there. They're sticking a cannula in you by these very important body parts. It's dangerous. Okay. Massages, they can be very dangerous. That fluid's supposed to go one way. They don't know what they're doing. They're pushing the fluid the wrong way. All of this stuff makes a difference. You need to have somebody there who, and let me tell you something. The person that you are taking with you, especially if you are traveling out of the state, needs to understand that this is not a vacation. You hear me? They are not going there with you because they're getting a free trip to Miami or Columbia or Atlanta or wherever. They need to understand that this is serious and I came here to help you. And so I'm going to sit still and I'm going to help you until it's time for me to go. It's very important. It's not a trip. It's not a vacation. Okay. The first time I made that, I flew my youngest daughter, my middle daughter came down with my oldest daughter. They all wanted to be there when I had my surgery. Well, that middle child, she can't sit still. She can't sit still. And so she actually ended up leaving early. Why? Because she don't want to sit still. And I told her before she came, this is not a trip. You came here to help me. You came here to make sure I'm okay. So the people that are there with you need to understand it is not a vacation. They are there to help you. You need to have somebody there with you who is stern. Somebody who, even though we are grown, right? Sometimes we don't make the right decisions. You need to have somebody that's going to be your nurse, even if they're not a nurse. My daughter did not play. I was supposed to have plenty of protein. I had plenty of protein. I'm supposed to drink a lot of water. She was waking me up with my water. Here, Mom, wake up, drink this shake. Here, Mom, wake up, drink this water. That's what you need. You need somebody who is going to actually nurse you back to health. Because you sleep, you're tired, you're exhausted. Your body just went through like some stuff. You got to have somebody who understands I came here to take care. Wake up, drink this water. Wake up, let me take your blood pressure. Wait, take a blood pressure cuff, take a pulse oximeter, the thing you stick on your finger to check your oxygen. You're going to take that with you. Take your supplies with you, especially if you don't have a nurse that's there. And if you're there by yourself, how are you going to call? If you pass out, you can't call. Take somebody with you, or at least, and let me tell you something else. Then I'm going to go ahead and get into it. But this is important. You paid a lot of money to these providers to do this surgery on you. They are trained professionals. They are the doctors, right? Do what they tell you to do. And for God's sake, please don't leave against medical advice. People do it all the time. They go, especially when it comes to lipo. They getting on the table, they getting done. The minute they can get their breath back and they feel a little like they can move around, they leaving. Against medical advice. That's what happens. See, the thing is now you get back home and something goes wrong, you can't blame nobody but yourself. You can no longer hold that position responsible when you left, when they told you not to leave. They tell you to stay in the state within a certain amount of miles so you can get to the clinic if you need to, so you can get to the emergency room when you need to. When you get up and decide you're going to leave, regardless of what they told you to do, you no longer have any legal ground to stand on if something does not go the way it's supposed to go. So if you ain't got the money to stay down there for the time they told you to stay, don't go. If you ain't got the money for the garments, don't go. If you ain't got no money for the aftercare, don't go. Get your money up to where it needs to be so you can take care of yourself. Okay? Has to get that out. Was there anything else that I said I was going to talk about? All right, so let's get into the garments. Listen, we're all adults. I ain't showing no nipples or nothing like that. We are all adults. Okay? So if you are not comfortable with me showing you my scars, so you know what you're going to look like afterwards, possibly, then you can go ahead and log off now. Okay? My purpose for doing this is because sometimes, if I'm being honest, sometimes I'm like, like it gets to me sometimes. Yes, I love my results, but sometimes when I look at all these scars I got left behind, it gets to me a little bit sometimes. So I'm trying to be honest with you, right? I'm trying to help somebody right now. So if you got anything negative to say, or if you can't stand a little skin, or why would she do that on here, go ahead. Right? Here we go. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to change cameras. So give me just a minute to change to my other camera. And then I will show you what we got. And I'll tell you when I get on the other camera, everything that I've had done. Live streamer cam should be that one. All right. And I'm not going to be able to see the comments when I get over here. Turn my screen around so I can see it. It might be a little dark in here, y'all. So I purposefully wore like all different color stuff, right? So you can see. So this is what I have to do every day, right? Let me zip up in the back here. This is what I have to go through all of this, right? Because what I have had done, I started. Just unplug my light. All right, so the first surgery I had done was, can y'all see me on TikTok? Let me move this over. All right, so the first surgery I had done was February 16th of last year. All right, and that would have been the lipo 360, which is liposuction that goes all the way around front and back. And then I had a BBL, so that means they would have taken fat out of my stomach and put it in my butt. I didn't have anything put in my hips. Apparently, I had hips the whole time and never even knew. They were just so hidden because my gut was sick. I don't know if you knew me. Anyway, if you knew me before, you knew that most of my weight I carried in my gut. All right. So again, in Florida, they can only take out 3,500 to 4,000 liters, right? So if I would have known the magnitude of that, I would have absolutely went to a state that could take out 5,000 liters. 5 liters. So 45. So 5,000 milliliters or 5 liters. All right. I would have went to a state like Georgia or somewhere, Texas, that could have done that. They also don't believe in doing, a lot of surgeons in Miami are not going to do more than one thing at a time. So that's why I have to go back so many times. So again, do your research, because even though I would have been on the table longer, and I felt like it was safer, there are some things I probably would have done together if I were given the opportunity to do them together. All right. So this next surgery I had would have been 6 months later. And let me get my mic. I hope y'all can hear me. Let me get the microphone closer to me. All right. Hopefully that'll be a little bit better as far as sound. One second. Anyway, hopefully y'all can hear me. All right. So the second surgery would have been 6 months later, which was August. So in August of 24, I went back to Miami. That would have been Dr. George's at Mia Plastic Aesthetics. plastic surgery, Mia Aesthetics plastic surgery, and I had a mommy makeover at that one. So that would have been my breast and a tummy tuck, right? Let me explain. Because they're like, if you didn't know me before, you would have never known that I had Lipo 360 because I still had so much gut left. Again, they can only take out a certain amount of fat. So that still left me with a lot of fat. I still had a gut. Now, the next thing about lipo, when you eat, it's coming back. It's coming back quick too. So when you have a tummy tuck, because they pull the skin so tight, the weight can still come back. Understand me? However, it typically comes back in different places. So if I gained a couple pounds, thunder thighs is what you're gonna see. Like if I put on whether it's fat or fluid, it's coming in my thighs every single time. Because there's not a whole lot of room for it to come in my stomach because they pull my skin tight on my stomach, if that makes sense. All right. Okay. Let me 1 second. 1 second. All right. So the last surgery I had was 3 months later because it was in a different body area. So I was able to go back 3 months later. Had that one in Houston with Dr. Digne, you say it, at Digne Plastic Surgery. And I had my arms and my back done. All right. So that is liposuction. That is a BBL. That is my breasts, a tummy tuck, arms, and back. So other than my legs, it's been done. It's been done. All right. And so you have to wear these compression garments to keep the fluid from coming back, that from building up. So you compress it so you don't swell, and help the massages also are going to help you keep moving that lymphatic fluid. You got to have lots of protein, right? One of the reasons why my arms are still having, my back is still having a hard time healing is because, again, I've gone through, some stuff and my appetite is really not where it should be. And I don't get the protein that I should. All of that is very important. All right. So here we go. This is my arm sleeves. I got to wear this on my arms. At least if it's not morning or not night, I'm putting something on and forgetting that I didn't put something else on, right? So then I got to start all over. It is a process. So I have to start getting dressed very early, especially in the beginning, which is another reason why you need help, because it's hard to get these on by yourself after a fresh surgery. So you're probably going to need some help. You got it? All right. So this is my compression for my arms and my back. All right. So here we go. Now, if I had to say the part of my body that I was the least pleased with, I would probably say my arms. However, if you saw my arms before, you would be like, how could you not? Because they're still thick. And like I asked, I wanted, sometimes you go to a surgeon and they're just gonna just cut off, right? But like I'm still thick, right? So I didn't want like these skinny arms. I wanted my arms to match the rest of my trunk. I wanted my butt to match my legs. So that means I'm not going to end up with a real skinny arm. And that's what I asked for. Sometimes I look and wish I hadn't said nothing and just let them cut it all off. See what I'm saying? So yeah, like you can look at something long enough and find something wrong with it. Stop staring so hard at yourself and give yourself some grace. All right, so here's something else that aggravates me. All right, so I'm gonna take this down. So I told you that when it comes to marks and bruises, it gets to me sometimes. So you know how your mom, if your mom was heavy breasted, how can y'all see that? So now, from, and not so much from the bras, I don't know if y'all can see, but from the thighs, right? Because I gotta get smaller and smaller with these, but some companies, they don't get any longer, right? Or they get shorter. So now I'm stuck with these marks, right? Let me fix my TikTok. Hold on. All right, so now I'm stuck with these marks that I have to use bio oil and cocoa butter on to try to help relieve some of these marks that I have from wearing these garments, right? So that's that. Now, I told you I have my breasts on. Now let me figure out a way. I said I was gonna put this on so I could show you. I'm gonna step outside of the camera for 1 second, but I'll keep talking so I can put this top on. All right, so you can see without seeing. I'm coming back. Give me just a minute. Let me make sure I'm totally out of the view of the cameras. Wow, I put this on and then I will show you those bruises, those marks. Keep coming back. All right, I'm back. All right, so take my faja down just a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna stop right there. Now, I'll show you my back first. So here is my scar from my back. So what they did on my back was some liposuction. They did lipo on my arms and then lipo on my back, the last surgery. So this horizontal scar is what I have so far left behind. Now that'll heal some more. It's not even been 3 months. So 6 months is what they tell you to expect before you're truly healed from any of your surgeries, right? So before you start complaining, you got to trust the process and wait 6 months. Well, that's when your depression is going to come in. Your depression is going to come in because you done spent all this money and, took all this time off work, use all your PTO, and now your body don't look like what you thought it was going to look like right away. So now you're crying and looking and you worried about what other people saying. If you're going to be worried about what other people say about your body, do not have the surgery. You should be the only person that matters when it comes to your surgery, right? That's the best advice that I can give you. If other people's opinion on what your butt is going to look like, what your titties going to look like, what your stomach is going to look like, if that is the deciding factor on whether or not you are happy, do not have the surgery, because everybody didn't like it before. Everybody didn't like you before. What makes you think that because you go have it, everybody's going to all of a sudden like it? If you ain't doing it for you, don't do it. The BBL jokes are not going to go away. Okay? There's always going to be somebody that has something to say about it. So if you ain't strong enough to like be able to sustain going through that, don't do it. Because the jokes ain't going nowhere, my girl. Okay? All right. So I showed you my arms. So that is the scar that I am left with on my arm. Inside here, that's where my fluid still sits. That's why I have to wear this garment, right? So you look at it from there and you look from there. So like I said, I'm not crazy about my arms, but it is what it is. Right here, I had some necrosis right in there. So I have an appointment with my doctor because of that. Gotta see what we're gonna do. Like, is compression gonna help with that? There is the body contour and all kind of stuff that you do massages afterwards. So that is now. Does it look better than it did before? Absolutely. Are they perfect? Nope. Nope. Can other people typically tell? No. Can I tell? Look at it all the time. I stare at it all the time. So I showed you my back marks and I showed you my scar. This one, because I wasn't eating enough protein and eating a lot of greasy food and sodium heavy food, this scar opened back up, right? So whereas I had this nice little skinny scar over here, I got a scar about this thick on this arm. Why? Because my arms kept swelling up. Then it bust open, right? because I wasn't eating right, and I was eating too much sodium when I was supposed to be not eating sodium and not eating a bunch of carbs and eating pancakes and grits and stuff that I wasn't supposed to be eating. So if you ain't gonna do what you're supposed to do, can't go back and blame it. I can't go back to the doctor and complain about something when I didn't do what I was supposed to do. Again, my mental health was nowhere near it was the third time as it was the first and second time. Which is why I say make sure you are mentally okay before you jump out and do it. All right? I'm being honest with you. I'm being transparent with you. Those are those scars. Let's move down. Again, you're going to have a little problem. I'm just a little bit, right? So there you go. So that is the scar. Those are my scars from my implants, right? And so the scars are going to go down and around here. Now, mind you, it's been 6 months. So with, some products, it might get a little lighter. Typically, I don't keloid. I don't heal this dark. So in my mind, I was not going to this time, but I did. And so I can't pull out my breast, but you can see with a vertical line. So you'll have a vertical line here, and then your line under the bottom when you have your breast done. All right? There, there, and there. They're going to take your nipples off. Then they're going to put your nipples back on, but I can't show you my nipples. All right? That's going to happen. All right, let's go down a little bit further. If you are looking, let's see if I can find any at the top. This right here, see that little dot? That's a liposuction. That's a liposuction. That's where they went in with the cannula. Somebody had a BBL, they're going to have one right here too. Not missable. Right there, you're going to have a cannula. All right. Now let's go down a little bit without going down too far. All right, so here is my belly. This faja is kind of squishing it together right now, and I can't pull out too much. All right, so my scar for my belly, there it is, right there. See that? So that is my tummy tuck scar, and that goes around to here, right? So that is that. That's it. Let me zip up my faja. So that's my butt. There it is. Now, if I stare long enough, and I ask people all the time, and I get on their nerves. If I stare long enough, I can find something wrong with my butt. I can find something. Everything on my right side is bigger. This right here drives me nuts. I'm like, how come he didn't pull that? I can't pinch nothing over here. I can pinch all day. I can't pinch an inch over there. Nowhere. Love it. Love it. Absolutely. All the way around my back. Can't pinch nothing. Come on this side. I'll be damned. Here we go. Here we go. How come I can pinch? Why ain't leave this? Well, how come it ain't like this on this side? You know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. That's what I got. This is what it's gonna be. So that's me. That's it. That's it. That's what your scars are gonna be. This is what you gotta wear for at least 6 months per body part. So I've been walking around with this on for a year. A year. It's now become a part of me. Like I don't even feel comfortable anymore when I don't have it on. So I simply wear it. Most of your fluid is gonna drain. If you have surgery anyway, you're still gonna end up with some fluid right in your gut, right? Still feels numb because when you have fluid, they're like, I don't have any sensation, right? You're gonna lose your sensation in your nipples for a minute if you get a breast augmentation, right? You're gonna lose sensation there for a while. You gotta remember, you got to think about all of this before you just jump up. Do your research, talk to somebody that's gonna be honest with you and tell you that it is not all like a happy day. You might end up depressed, like I told you. You might end up anxious, like I told you. All of that can happen. Good over evil. Good over evil. That means. Anyway, I think that's the name. Anyway, do your research. If I can't give you no better advice, it's definitely do your due diligence in your research and finding your surgery and choosing wisely, who you take with you. And I was blessed enough to have nurses with me each time, and that definitely made a difference. But everybody don't have access to a nurse. There are, like I said, some homes, recovery homes that you can stay at that are staffed with either medical professionals or access to medical professionals, people that have a plethora of experience that work closely with the doctors. Just make sure you do your research on them too, so that you're picking the right ones. These people, they pick you up from the airport, take you to your appointments. You're just gonna be running around with anybody. So make sure, like people get kidnapped, right? People get kidnapped, people get trafficked, going to have surgery. You got to keep all of that in mind. Do your research, and make sure you have not only money for the surgery, but money for everything you need after the surgery. What if something goes wrong, right? God forbid something goes wrong, and now you thought you was going to be off for a couple weeks, and now you off work for 6 months, right? 6 weeks, whatever. You got to take all of that into consideration. Most jobs ain't going to pay you for short-term disability for no cosmetic surgery. So you going, like, you just running, blowing through your PTO with these surgeries, right? Anything can happen. My first surgery, I took off. I thought I was going to take off for like 10 days. My blood pressure. I couldn't keep my blood pressure. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't sit up. Like, it was horrible. Literally, if my daughter was there, I probably would not be standing here in front of you right now. So I thank God for my daughter who helped me recover through that surgery, and stood by my side the whole time, even when I got home. But that cost me another week off work because I can't sit up and work, right? If I can't sit up, I can't sit up, right? Blood pressure was in the 60s. 60s. This is no joke. I had just enough time to stand up slowly, use the bathroom, and get right back into bed before I passed out for about 2 weeks. There's nothing to play with. All right. Do what the doctor tells you to do and plan and prepare like you need to, like you should, before you actually go through with any type of cosmetic surgery. So that's it. I hope that I am me being transparent tonight. I hope that the guys who actually shout out and man love, big thanks to Go Hard and I think his name was Shane. DJ Spree, who came on, that came on earlier and kind of gave their views on women having cosmetic surgery. Both very, professional and transparent. Both had different, kind of similar, but different views, both different age groups. And so it was nice to have a respectful conversation with them, answer any questions that they may have had about me personally. Because like I said, I can only speak for me and why I had surgery. I can't speak for everyone else. I know some people do it for the wrong reasons. Some people do it, because they're trying to get more attention. While I love attention, I ain't never had no problem getting attention. So it's definitely not why I did it. Tell you that sometimes now it comes with more attention than I appreciate. I find myself putting on sweatpants and a sweatshirt a whole lot more than I did before, because sometimes that attention, like, you don't always want that, right? Right. I don't. You don't always want that. So yeah, like, you definitely get more. It comes with more attention. So if you ain't ready for that either, really, really think about that. I don't see any questions on here. Did you get or was a mental health evaluation just before get? So Griselle asked, did I have to have a mental health evaluation before the surgery? And I said this earlier on in the podcast. For weight loss surgeries, because understand me, Liposuction is not weight loss surgery. All right. I had to lose weight to be able to go get the surgery. It's not weight loss surgery. And they tell you that. All right. So for any type of actual weight loss surgery, like a gastric bypass or a gastric sleeve, any of those, you actually do have to be medically cleared by a psychiatrist, psych nurse practitioner, or a therapist before you can have any of those surgeries. It is not required for cosmetic surgery. However, in my professional opinion, it should be. It should be required. And I hope that that will be something that is implemented in the future, because again, some people definitely do it for the wrong reasons. Some people go on, or I told you I'm not satisfied like with certain parts, but I'm not going back no more. But there are going to be some people who just keep going. Like sometimes it becomes an addiction. I knew in the beginning, because I knew everything that I wanted done from the very beginning, right? But I was also told, well, we can't do all that at one time. You're going to have to come back. It's going to take about 3 times. So I knew when I first started that this was going to take me a year, and I was going to have to go back twice, like 1, 2, 3 times is what I went. I knew it. But there are going to be some people who just repeatedly go back and back and back and do this and do that and do this and do that. Right? Told you I lost almost 90 pounds, right? So that left me with a lot of skin everywhere. And so I wanted to have that corrected. As the bonus, you're going to take out some fat, might as well put it in. And so I had that done. My breasts were never planned. I don't even know how I ended up with breasts, because I thought that I was going to be able to get my arm lift at the same time that I got my tummy tuck. And when I called like 2 weeks before, and it was like, well, that's not what we have you down for. I was like, what you got me down for? Oh, you getting a mommy makeover? Oh, I am. I don't even know how that happened, but so I decided to just roll with it. So here I am at 49 with breasts for the first time in my life. And I love them. I love everything about my breasts. I will tell you that I did develop an infection at the nipple where they put stitches in. You can get what's called a stitch abscess. And so I got that, I think twice in my left breast, once in my right breast, but only one time I had to actually take antibiotics, because my daughter just happened to be here. She was like, Mom, what's wrong? What's wrong with your breast? And I was like, what you mean? And so I looked at it, and honestly, like that morning when I got dressed, I looked and I was like, is that blood? Where is that blood coming from? But I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And so then when she said that and I looked, it was like my brow, like I had a light color brow and you can see some blood. Like, where is that coming from? So then we had to take pictures. Mind you, the doctor's not here, right? So we got to take pictures and send the pictures over via email for the doctor to tell me what to do. And that's what they did. They gave me some antibiotics. They calls them in here. I picked up my antibiotics, took them in. I hadn't had any more problems. Well, I did get an abscess a couple more times, but it didn't get red or infected. You got to massage your breasts. If you get implants, you got to massage your breasts like all throughout the day until they drop, because they start off like up here, right? So you go back and look at my pictures from when I first had my surgery, like my breasts like sitting up here. So if you don't do your massages like you're supposed to every day, several times a day, then you end up with your breasts getting what's called like encapsulated, right? You gotta go back and get like another surgery, because now your breasts are encapsulated and they're sitting up here. Or like one of my breasts dropped before the other ones, right? So I got one breast up here and one down here. In my mind, I like the one that was up, right? Because I thought that was the one that was good. I mean, that's perfect, nice and full. Then when I sent the picture, they was like, no, that's the one that's not good. Now they send me in some other kind of medicine. I'm not going to say what the name is, because I don't want you going out there buying that. They send me some other medicine that's used for something else. But, It actually helps your breasts drop. So I went, picked up that medicine, started rubbing and massaging my breasts again, and finally it dropped into place. So now I got 2 breasts, nipples even. Are they exactly the same size? No. Guess what? It wasn't exactly the same size before, right? So think about it. If I had 2 breasts and they were not the same size, like yours aren't, if you're a girl or a guy, because nobody has 2 breasts the same size, right? So if I had 1 and 2 and they're different sizes, but I go get some implants and the implants are the same size, and now you put those implants in the 2 different size breasts, ain't they still gonna be 2 different sizes? Don't go out there looking for perfection. Just go out, just go. If you're doing it because you want to feel better about yourself. Don't do it for anybody else. Don't do it for no man. If that man don't love you for the way you are, who you are, and how you are, that might not be the man for you. But I want you to be comfortable with you. And so if you feel like it's something that you want to do for yourself, husband, boyfriend, I would hope that you would be supportive, even though it might not be something that you agree with. Like, if it's gonna make sis feel better, consider it. Definitely, if you're a couple, I feel like it's a decision that should be made together. I don't think you should just run out and put yourself at risk without the support of your spouse or your partner or whatever. I think that definitely should be a mutual agreement. But that's just me. That's just me. Anyway, I think unless anybody has another question, that was it. If I got any questions on here, and I don't think I do. Hey David, how you doing? Anna J. Anyway, that was it. That was my journey. Thank you for being a best part of the journey with Trish. Listen, anybody got any questions, you want to feel free to send me an inbox. If I can't help you, I will. Again, anything that I say is only going to be my personal opinion. I am not here to give anybody any type of medical or psychiatric advice. Like y'all know, I love helping people. And if I can use what I went through to help anybody, I hope that I've been a blessing to somebody today in that manner. All right. Anyway, don't forget to come back and tell your girl happy birthday on March 8th, because I'm about to be. Am I going to 50 years old? See, that's another reason why I could do it, because I'm 50. About to be 50. And I'm grown. And when you grown, you could do what you want to do, right? It don't matter what nobody else say, because you grown, right? So we can't be grown out here worried about what other people say they wouldn't do. If they don't want to do it, they can always speak on what you do. That's never going to change, right? It's never going to change. All right, let's have a quick word of prayer. That's what I do. And I'm going to go get me some sleep. Father God, in the name of Jesus, God, I thank you for everything that you have done for me. God, I thank you for covering me and protecting me throughout this journey. I thank you for making it possible by giving me the resources to be able to take this journey. But again, thank you for protecting me. Thank you for protecting my family while, I was unable to care for them because they were caring for me. God, I just want to ask that if you would continue to watch over and provide peace, protection, clarity for everyone connected to me. And whether that be connected in real life or connected in social media life, God, every follower, everybody that just happens to run across anything that I post, whether it be on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere. God, I want you to be a blessing to them as well. God, I want you to continue to pour into them as well. Continue to give them what they need. Continue to heal them, heal their families, bless them on their jobs, bless them in their households, and bless everybody connected to them. I thank you for giving me a platform to be able to serve you and to be able to live out my purpose. And my purpose is to pour into women and anybody connected to those women. And I thank you for that purpose. And I thank you for giving me every opportunity to serve you. And I love y'all. And thank you. I love y'all. God bless y'all. Good night. Good night. So we ended there. All right. Good night, Facebook. I'm so nice. 50 is dope because, yeah. Yeah. Hey, Sheikah. Yes, child. It's time to go to bed. It's 9 o'clock. Love y'all. Good night.